You have within you a guide to what kind of life you should be living. You may have learned to ignore it in the name of fitting in, being practical, or simply getting through your life. But it's there, telling you where to go next. And you can access it by asking yourself a few questions. What do you admire in others? What are you good at? What have others complimented you on? What has made you feel proud? What makes you like yourself? What makes you feel alive? In order to align your life with your answers to these questions, you need to spend time with yourself. If you don't know the answer to how you should live, a decision to make, or a habit to form or break, you've got some introspective work to do. It is considered normal to use the endless supply of information and entertainment available today to distract you from your own inner voice and the sometimes troubling self-critical thoughts it produces. You must listen to that voice and resist the urge to escape. Popular culture is hotly engaged in debates over how others should live their lives. Should you get married? Should you do drugs? Should you move out of your parents' house? Should men be more masculine or less? Should women pursue careers or raise children? Let me assure you that all of these questions are irrelevant distractions. In every case, this general advice about how different groups should live would be improved greatly by simply urging individuals to inquire into their own nature, their own self-approval, and educating them on how this can be done. You already have within you a blueprint for your own self-approval. You need only get in touch with this sense to know how you should live your life. Happiness and unhappiness aren't determined simply by the balance of chemicals in your brain. If you aren't happy, your brain isn't broken and in need of repair. It is telling you that your actions need to change. You have to listen. Depression is a vicious cycle in which idle behaviors lead to negative self-evaluations, which lead to negative emotions, which lead to idle behaviors. Break the cycle. Take actions that cause you to admire yourself. Little by little, increase the amount of admirable behavior in your lifestyle. Do not numb yourself to the pain of self-disapproval, self-loathing, or shame. Do not try to drown out the self-critical thoughts or feelings. Learn from them. Make changes to the root problem and not just its symptoms. Improve your actions, your virtues, and the domains you bring them out through. But don't believe everything you think. Toxic work environments, unhealthy relationships, and technological echo chambers can lead us to adopt distorted views of ourselves. Be skeptical of the negative self-beliefs you develop and sort out the truth about your strengths. You have to take the actions that you admire in others to make you admire yourself, even if you don't feel like it. The modern world, the demands of work, and of course, the internet and social media all make it tempting and easy to forget that you must become who you are. But your self-appraisal system doesn't care how much fun scrolling on social media is. If you don't insist on living in alignment with your ideals and taking actions that make you proud of who you are, you won't approve of yourself and you won't be happy. You may not feel as if you have permission to truly pursue the actions and domains of your ideals. It may seem silly, but not only can you build your life around these things, you will be unhappy as long as you are simply getting by and not tapping into your deepest passions and ideals. The point of living is not to figure out what others want you to do. It isn't to craft a life that looks like, quote unquote, the right answer to people around you. Stop worrying about how your life looks on paper or on your social media accounts. Craft your character, not your image. Figure out what kind of person you truly admire and then go work to become that person. Though it is not easy by any means, it really is that simple. Do not allow the state of the world or your perception of it to bring you down with it. Do not make excuses for not making yourself happier. Do not blame your genes, your parents, or anything else. Not because you're wrong, but because you don't have control over these things, and you don't have time to dwell on them. Insist on living a great life, even if the world seems to be crumbling around you. There is truly no point in mourning the state of the world when you only have a few brief moments to experience it. If you want to improve the world, let your path to personal excellence lead you to action. Acknowledge the problems and inequities that have contributed to where you are now. See if you can use your gifts to do anything about them, and take full responsibility for your choices, attitudes, and flourishing going forward. Beware of complacency. Do not mistake the life of idle comfort for the end goal of human existence. Situations of comfortable mediocrity are more dangerous for your long-term well-being than acutely negative ones, because these are the situations that will never force you to improve. The good life is hard. It's active. It involves pushing yourself to your limits each day. Hard work, when it applies your greatest strengths and contributes to others, can be one of the best things in life. No one is going to make you become who you are. Your culture, your friends, your family, and your boss are not going to remind you to become who you really are. In fact, many others have it in their best interest that you remain a limited version of yourself. You are the only one who can make you become who you really are. If a job, a community, or a relationship consistently causes you to feel that your virtues are dead, stagnant, or worthless, your path to becoming your best self will likely demand that you leave. If you find yourself in a comfortable position that is holding you back from your potential, but you don't feel you have a strong enough push to leave, let me be that push for you. Leave. Don't walk. Run. Right now is the right time to make a change that will bring you closer to your ideals. The many reasons you have as to why it isn't possible to become who you are right now, not enough time, not enough money, physical, mental, social limitations. These are all stories you tell yourself to try to get off the hook for your growth. I'm not saying that you don't lack money. I'm saying you're overlooking creative funding opportunities. I'm not saying you don't have tendencies or weaknesses that might prevent a particular path. I'm saying there are ways to work around, alter, or even turn those weaknesses into strengths that you haven't allowed yourself to consider yet. Here's the question you must ask yourself. Are you pursuing greatness? Yes, greatness. When we criticize those with delusions of grandeur, we forget that it's the delusion, not the grandeur, that warrants reproach. Navigating your way in life is like a game of hot and cold. Do I like myself more or less? How about when I do this? This is the nature of this great experiment. Take a step and listen for the message. Continually ask yourself if your actions make you admire yourself more or less than before. Ask yourself how much your greatest strengths were used in the last day, the last week, and the last year. Make whatever changes are necessary to increase the virtue in your actions and the pride you feel in yourself. And yes, try your hardest. Your virtue trek will be full of treacherous cliffs and dead ends, but you have to find the path upward. Do not waste precious time on this planet doing anything other than striving toward your highest potential in your relationships and communities, in your work, and in your daily habits and behaviors, in your character. Don't waste a minute of your life being less than you can be. Get out of your house, away from your desk, and experience the world. Embody yourself and your life fully, as much of the time as you can. You must ascend the peaks of virtue and embody your highest ideals. Your self-esteem needs it. Your relationships need it. The world needs it.